Well, Catherine, the pastor here compared Burlingame to Newtown, Connecticut. He said both are small towns. He said the school shooting was pure evil. Pam, the San Mateo County bomb squad found picric acid, an explosive used by the military, inside the garage of this home, as well as ether. So those chemicals had to be detonated in the front yard of this home. You can see the home is boarded up. House Speaker John Boehner didn't have enough votes to pass the main part of his Plan B.
Lee's Automotive does have fire insurance. The estimated total cost of this fire still unknown at this point because they're still trying to piece together exactly what happened. I want you to take a look at how much snow we've gotten so far. About 2 feet fallen within the last 48 hours, and look, it's basically up to my knees. I also want you to take a look at Interstate 80 over here. Traffic is moving smoothly, and surprisingly, CHP has dropped that chain requirement.
Many were wondering where the mayor was tonight. A city staffer was sitting in her seat. Residents have started a makeshift memorial here at the Vallejo Police Department. You can see they've left flowers, lit candles. Well, Pam, San Jose City College President Barbara Cavalier said she received information from a text message that a gunman was on campus. Students and staff at San Jose City College remained in classrooms with the doors locked at 4:30 Tuesday afternoon. This is video from Sky 7 HD, ABC 7 News. While law enforcement armed with guns stormed buildings and checked all rooms for an alleged gunman. About 2 hours later, the college switched to a partial lockdown as law enforcement focused its search on the technology building. Everyone was asked to evacuate. Since this is finals week, there were not as many students on campus. Those who came ready to take their exam were turned away.
I came about 10 minutes early to class. Then apparently, all these cop cars came out of nowhere, and then they sort of shut the whole building down.
College officials say no one actually confirmed seeing a gunman on campus. Class instructors and students were alerted about the alleged gunman by text message and an automated phone call. They say they were asked to cover windows, turn lights off, and lock the doors.
We try and do as much as we can to protect ourselves and the students, and it's just definitely will be more alert in the future.
By 7:45 tonight, the lockdown was lifted, and the college president said classes will resume tomorrow. No gunman was ever located on campus. Live in San Jose, Reggie Kumar, KRON 4 News.
Welcome back to Slide Dial.
Are you trying to avoid talking to your in-laws, or do you want to break up with someone without having the talk?
No, please, no. No problem.
Then Slide Dial is for you. The website says it'll get you directly to the voicemail of the person you're calling without that person picking up.
Ready to Slide Dial someone?
Oh my gosh.
Enter their mobile phone number now.
That is awful.
Layla Calder says she doesn't like it, especially if someone tried to end a relationship this way.
It's just so impersonal, and it's wrong. Like, why even waste the time?
It's quite cowardly.
This woman feels the same way.
You're not giving somebody an end. You're just kind of, you're not facing things. You're not confronting things because you're scared.
Although some guys we spoke to say they would use this service.
Probably because it's the easiest thing. I don't want crying.
So you would consider it then?
Yeah.
So we decided to test Slide Dial out for ourselves to see how it works. I punch in my phone number.
Thank you.
Depending on the phone carrier, your phone still rings, but when you answer it, nobody is there. However, you do get a voicemail.
I think they should call it 1-800-WIMP.
Relationship expert Dr. Deborah Moore says leaving a message will not solve the person's problem. They'll eventually have to face it.
If you're using this to call and break up an old relationship, that pattern of avoidance is definitely going to be present in your next relationship.
Again, the service is free, but if you call it and you hear those advertisements and you want to get rid of those, it will cost you $4.99 a month and 15 cents each time you use it to get rid of those advertisements.
All right, so admit it. Are you going to use Slide Dial?
I don't know, I'll think about it, but not to break up a relationship. What about you, Thomas? Now, if you're looking to buy a hybrid, they do have a Tahoe that is a hybrid. Take a look at the price, though. Over $52,000. So we decided to do the math ourselves. If you're driving 15,000 miles per year with gas at $4 a gallon, the Nissan Altima Hybrid
Well, Pam, the San Mateo County bomb squad found picric acid, an explosive used by the military, inside the garage of this home, as well as ether. So those chemicals had to be detonated in the front yard of this home. You can see the home is boarded up. Go and take a look at this video of the scene. Now, hazardous materials crews were called in to dispose of the chemicals located inside the garage. The bomb squad felt the chemicals were too dangerous to be moved and detonated at a different location, so they dug a hole and placed sandbags around it. According to neighbors, the homeowner was a dentist and chemist. He has since passed away. His widow did not want to speak with us on camera. 500 homes in the area were asked to shelter in place. Some residents had to be evacuated as well. First, we'll hear from San Mateo City Fire Battalion Chief Joe Novelli.
There was lots of chemicals.
The windows on this home behind me were all shattered. That's why they are boarded up. No other homes were damaged during the explosion, and no one was injured. Live in San Mateo, Reggie Kumar, KRON 4 News. Plan B is most likely dead.
There's only 11 days left for Congress to avert the fiscal cliff. Thursday evening, House Republicans attempted to resolve the country's financial crisis with Plan B. The first part of it passed by a slim vote of 215 to 209. It would stop automatic spending cuts for 1 year. Since the vote on the main part of Plan B has been postponed, KRON 4's political analyst Michael Yockey explains what's next.
Congress is going to have something to vote on before Christmas, but the question is whether or not it's something that the Senate sends to the House, or whether it's something that the Speaker Boehner works out with the President. I think it's much more likely that they're going to be voting on something that the Senate sends to the House, because I just don't know Speaker Boehner has the ability to get a majority of his own caucus to support a bill. I don't believe that the Speaker and the President are going to be able to work out a deal. The question, though, is for the good of the country, will the Congress vote on something that either sets it for a future time to avoid the cliff, or some kind of deal that also avoids the cliff. But it's not, I don't believe it's going to come from an agreement between the Speaker and the President, because the Speaker can't deliver the votes.
Yockey went on to say, since House Speaker Boehner did not have a majority of votes from Republicans to pass Plan B, that means there would be even less support for the president's plan, so Boehner could lose his speakership in January. Pam.
So, of course, regular citizens are just crazy about what is going on with this, but also businesses. What's expected to happen on the stock market tomorrow?
It's supposed to be a roller coaster ride on the stock market tomorrow. We're already seeing it. Asian stocks have already fallen right now. The markets want certainty, so tonight's failed vote doesn't necessarily mean the markets like the House Speaker's plan, and with the House leaving on Christmas break, that shows even more uncertainty, so we'll have to see what happens.
A gas line in Richmond is patched up and working again after it ruptured this morning. The line at South 49th Street and Wall Avenue was damaged by a private contractor at about 10:30 a.m. Richmond police ordered an evacuation in the area. 2 hours later, it was lifted after PG&E fixed the pipe. Union City Police are searching for someone who hit a bicyclist, then took off. Police say the person was riding the bike about 4:45 this morning at Mission Boulevard and Dakota Road when the collision occurred. Police tell us the bicyclist has life-threatening injuries. There is no description of the hit-and-run suspect. Penn State has lost its final home game of the season against Nebraska. It's the first time college football legend Joe Paterno was not coaching since Harry Truman was president. Paterno was fired earlier this week as details emerged in the child sex abuse scandal. A candlelight vigil was held for the victims of sexual abuse. And today, as fans tailgated for the game, some students spoke out. Barbara Hall takes a look at how the university is trying to move forward. Okay, Robin, you got to take a look at this. A big day for the Bay Bridge. Look at this old school video. It turned 75 years old. The chain cutting ceremony by President Herbert Hoover marked the bridge's grand opening on November 12, 1936, when the bridge first opened. The lower deck was reserved for trucks and trains. The toll price, get this, on opening day, just 65 cents.
Wow.
And here's a live look at the western span of the bridge tonight. The 75th anniversary is being marked with a 30,000 LED lights display. And so the weather for later on this week, it's going to be a little rainy, right?
Yes.
And Robin, Stanford did lose their first game of the season to Oregon. Yes, I know. I have nothing to say about that. 3 new films made the top 3 at the box office this weekend. We'll take a look at the movies and how much they made.